Spears and Steinberg.
You know what the it is?
Aries and Andy, Jew and the Jerk.
You know it's time to get this work.
The real raw, gutter, uncut coke. No political corrections.
Always sleep.
Being awoke. We discuss politics and jokes.
Scribe, we lit.
There's levels to this shit. Before you was sucking on your mama's.
Aries Spears don't give a fuck.
We talk about race a lot, racism.
Sexism.
Much love to my loyal bag holders.
Rollers. Loaders.
We got them in the folders.
The whole world on our shoulders.
Spears and Steinberg.
Yeah.
This O Steve comes to us from Uriah Young, my first O Steve. Hey, Aries and Andy, thought I'd give my first O Steve intro a shot. Hope you like it. The year is 1986, and a new movie is about to be made starring Tom Selleck and Ted Danson. The casting agency is having a difficult time finding the third co-star. I wonder where this is going. Arnold Schwarzenegger walks into the audition room, looks at the script, and sarcastically says in his typical Arnold voice, "Oh, this movie is not for me. What do I look like being in a movie about three men raising a baby? I have someone in mind, though. I'll be back." The casting agent calls in the next actor, and Sylvester Stallone. He looks at the script and says in his typical sly Stallone voice, "Hey, yo, I just started Cobra and Rocky 4, you know? This movie ain't for me, you know?" Sly walks out, and Arnold returns with his friend. He says to the casting director, "This is my action buddy. You know, I him in from Police Academy." The casting director raises his eyebrows and smiles and says, "Oh, Steve." You know what he's talking about, right?
Yeah.
Steve Gutenberg.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what'd you think?
Yeah, I liked it because he gets you to do impressions. What I would have done if I was him, though, just because it seems like a vehicle to get Aries to do impressions for you on the podcast, I would have put in 8 more characters of just Denzel should have been in the room,
right?
Like just all the hits, man. Get them all in. Jay-Z should have walked in and go.
The ending, I think the ending should have been like, you know, "This is my friend Gutenberg." Cast goes, "Gutenberg? No, that's my last name. What's your first name?" "Oh, Steve."
Yeah.
Just more of a, you know.
Yeah, it's a natural way of having it. Yeah, I would have had you do, I would have got more characters in.
You would have Eddie Murphy'd me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
By the end, it would Hercules.
"Oh, Steve. Oh, Steve." That I should have saved that. That would have been one for me to do. Okay. First one comes to us from Carlos Zarazua. New Power spinoff. Yo, what up, A&A? Aries, I know you don't care for the Power spinoffs, but I saw something on the internet saying they're going to do an original spinoff for Tommy and Ghost. Oh, wanted to get your thoughts on it. I need to thank you, Aries, for the good recommendations. My wife and I never watched Sopranos, and hearing you talk about it all the time made me get HBO a few years ago. HBO should cut me a check. I'm bringing them subscriptions. My wife and I love Sopranos. I heard you talk. About 8 years ago. My wife and I love Sopranos. I heard you talk about Power so much that I told my wife one day, "Hey, let's watch this." We love Power as well. When my wife asked me how did I know about Power, I told her the same guy who recommended Sopranos spoke highly of this show too. I'm not sure why the other guy emailed. Well, I'm not sure why that other guy emailed saying Power isn't that good though. Well, I'm just waiting for the bill cycle of HBO to end so I can cancel that and sub to Stars so we can watch the Power spinoffs. Why not keep both? What you penny pinching, nigga?
Dun dun dun.
Oh, you. You know, ever since you did that, I kind of can't get that out of my head now. So also I wanted to ask this, Aries, seeing as how you guys have some production for LA for a la Welcome to the Party Pal for first time emailers, I was wanting to ask if you can have Steve queue up a skidding car followed by the car crash whenever you read 3 grammatical errors in an email. That's funny. I say 3 because people have to earn it, LOL. It's been a good while since Steve has done that, and man, I'm telling you, I get lightheaded from how hard I laugh whenever it happens. Hope this gets read, and if it does, I hope you strongly consider the car crash thing. LOL, love the pod, y'all. You know, it might be time to switch it up a little bit, because I've been doing the $10 since the beginning.
Yeah.
So it might be time for something new.
Yeah, but with that, I think people are gonna send in
Purposely?
just so they can get it.
Right.
Yeah,
You may be right.
yeah, maybe, but yeah, it's worth doing it for an episode just to check it out, see how it flows.
And then the cue would have to, because I would hate to just go, Steve, do it. Like maybe the cue is, oh Jesus,
Yeah, something.
right.
Yeah, and you could give Steve some creative license and let him come up with all different kind of crash sounds, explosions.
I sometimes think that if we give Steve the keys to the liquor cabinet, he's gonna drink everything in the motherfucker, and then go to the gun cabinet and get the guns and shoot up the whole house. All in the background, his shit is playing.
That would be great if that's one of the sounds.
What?
Did they get it wrong and didn't you just hear?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
What do you think about that Power spinoff, though?
Listen, if it has Omari Hardwick in it, I'm in. I told you, I'm very respectful. I don't believe in going.
They knew each other. The storyline is they knew each other back in their youth. So what if they go all the way? They get two new actors and they're kids, younger guys.
I'm not doing that.
I don't know. I think the origin would be kind of interesting if they got the right actors.
No, but I think the spinoff. I don't know if he's saying the spinoff is with two new actors or it's with them recast. I mean, them in the spinoff, just at a different time.
Yeah, but don't you want to see what if it was where they had them when they're kind of older? They go back that there's different actors for different age groups, but they're in it still. Do you know what I mean? They go back and they're in high school. Because that's when that's when he starts selling on the street when he's in high school. Didn't they have some scenes?
They did. They had a spinoff where they were kids.
Yeah.
Almost. I don't think that did well at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
I never got into the spinoffs because I couldn't. I had a hard time with Power in the first place, I've been very I thought that it's a watch. I'm not going to deny it's a watch, but it was very it just had that dun 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 feel to me all the time where it was a soap opera.
But a good soap opera is...
Yeah, listen, I've watched soap operas before. When I watched General Hospital when it was Luke and Laura. That's way back. If you know that, you're as old as me.
Well, I grew up on All My Children.
Okay.
Yeah.
My mom watched All My Children, too.
Yeah, what was her name? The one who was there forever. Was it Jessica? What was her name?
Oh, I know.
Tucci. What's that bitch's name?
Lucci. Yeah, but I don't remember. Yeah, but she's the one who didn't get an award for 20-something years and finally got one. She was good. Yeah. But General Hospital, that was Luke and Laura time. I'd come home from high school and just in time to catch Luke and Laura and see what happened.
Yeah.
And their little story.
Soap operas are mainly a woman thing, though, right?
They're the ones, it was made for women because they were home during the day. This is before women had to work, too, to feed kids. So the wife would stay home and get the house ready and make dinner, and there would be these soap operas. And that's why they're called soap operas, because they sold predominantly, it was commercials for soap, and then, home care cleaning products. So that's where it was on. But I got into it because I was homesick, and I remember I was homesick for 4 days, and I saw this whole Luke and Laura thing, and I was like, this is kind of cool. I wanted to know what was happening. My mom was laughing that I was into it, so I'd come home and I'd watch it, but it only lasted for probably a month that I watched it.
Ah, the good old days. Back when women didn't work, they had to stay home, get pregnant, take care of the kids, cook the meals, iron the clothes, wash the clothes, and be ready to get by daddy when he got home. They kept their mouths shut and their legs open. What I wish we could bring those days back, the good old days. And if the wife got out of line, she caught a backhand. And if it was a black man with a ring, she caught a lot of pinky meat in her ring. In his ring. I up. Brett Butler, yeah?
What was it? How did Sean Connery say it?
Every now and then you got to give a woman a good slap. Are you going to get a lot of mail after this? Might get some free mail. That is the pimpiest line ever. Might get some female. Oh God bless him. I want to ask the women a question on the podcast, and be honest with me, ladies. I'm throwing the titty signal in the air. Do any of y'all like a little good slap every now and then? You know what I mean? Nothing violent, not making you do a 360 spin and crash into the closet and take all the clothes down on your fall. But just a good.
Yeah, but where are you saying? Like a slap in the face, slap in titties, slap in the ass,
in the face. Just ladies, like a light pap. You know what I mean? You get out of line, you get a little mouthy with your man, and you like that? I want to know. There's got to be some chicks out there that.
There's chicks that like to get slapped.
Yeah. And again, not a Ronald Williams, but
Most. If you like being slapped, you don't want to love tap.
What do you want?
You want to be slapped.
You mean like to the point where it's a slow motion saliva shoot out your mouth?
No, but like a sting.
A sting, a light sting.
No,
Not to the point where they hear the music.
Not.
Right. Okay. I told you I like to be mushed in the forehead by a chick with her 2 fingers right on my forehead. I like that.
Yeah, white girl can do that too.
That was one of those where I immediately wanted to say something, but you caught me off guard. You caught my brain to freeze. It's like you did an Allen Iverson crossover on me mentally.
And there's Jordan going to the floor.
Oh God. Would it be crazy if I? What if I got with a white chick and I was like, yo, we should come up with a safe word if things get too violent between me and you? What if she just went watermelon? Should I be upset?
I don't know. Should you?
All right, let me move on. Iqbal. He spells his name Iqbal. Iqbal, I guess that is. Movie wreck. Dragged across concrete. 2018. Same director as Brawl and Cell Block 99. And also stars Vince. Wait a minute. We did this, no?
I thought we did.
Yeah, Vince Vaughn alongside Mel Gibson as 2 cops. We talked about this.
Yeah, we did.
That wasn't nearly as up as...
It was still bad.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because you know what? Wait a minute.
It's the same people.
Director. So maybe that's his thing. Shoot a part of the body and cut to a bad mannequin-like.
Oh, man.
That's the same dude.
Dude, I just, I caught a little bit of Blade.
Wesley Snipes?
Yeah. And the effects on it. Like those effects that we're talking about are bad.
Don't be blasphemous.
No. This one effect when they shoot the dude,
and he bubbles up.
Yeah, but you saw it like it was like crayons. Like we have come so far in technology.
I gotta rewatch that because that was actually on I saw it a month ago, and I know exactly the moment you're talking about, but I don't recall it being like that.
It was so like I started laughing because I was like, we have come so far in our technology. That I saw that. And at the time, I don't remember going, oh, that's horrible. That must have looked good at the time. But I saw it, and I just started laughing.
Yeah, it absolutely looked good at the time because Blade was a classic. Blade's a classic.
When you watch it, it is just so... It's just, we've gotten...
You know, as they did the segment on Opie and Anthony with Patrice, they talked about, and I think me and you mentioned it, but I was mentioning it because they mentioned it, often... sequels are not as good as the first.
Right.
Blade 2 is better than Blade 1. Blade 2 and Blade 1 was dynamite.
Yeah, I never go against the original unless it's something that they took it in a different way.
You don't think Blade 2 was better than Blade 1?
I think it's just as good.
Just as? You didn't think it was better?
Dude, maybe it might have been. No, I always go with you because you don't get the second without the first. The first is needed. The first is the story.
You don't get your second child without the first child, but sometimes the second child you love more than the first child.
But you couldn't get to that one if you didn't practice on the first one.
Practice?
You practiced having the first
practice. One. not a game. We're talking about practice.
Yeah.
Okay. Gregory Hayes. Brawl in Cell Block 99. Just checked out Brawl in Cell Block 99. Y'all are bugging. The movie was actually good in a cheesy way. What? And it's a decent watch if you're home chilling and want a good chuckle. It's one of those trash-ass movies. It's entertaining because it's so bad. It was so bad it wasn't entertaining.
No, I'll say that you can watch it knowing that it's so bad that it's good.
You'd have to go into it going, somebody told me this is horrible.
Well, horrible. That's the only way, because when you watch it and you take it seriously, it's just a bad movie. But when you know that it's one of those campy kind of up movies, yeah, you could watch it that way. But that wasn't how it was advertised to us. It was
advertised from
Man
Leroy
Food.
Furious.
Yeah, Man Food,
Yeah.
great movie.
Man Food on steroids.
Yeah, no, there was no steroids.
Not at all. Not at all.
There was just a.
This was not a performance-enhancing script.
This was Vince Vaughn as semi-Terminator.
Yeah. Well, I can't even do a bad Southern accent that bad. James Miller, Aries, you said Andre 3000 is not a lyricist on episode 173. Nigga, I hope you changed your mind since then. If not, you got a homework assignment. Go listen to Aquamini. If you don't listen to any other albums, have you even listened to any other? If you don't listen to any other, have you even listened to any of their albums? Nope. I damn near lost it when I heard you say that. Just like you say, Patrice is a comedian's comedian. Andre 3000 is a lyricist.
Dude, you don't give enough credit to the South. South had some. You don't. You don't. You're East Coast all the way.
You know what song I absolutely love by a Southern rapper, and I would play it all the time? T.I.'s "Bring 'Em Out."
Okay.
I love "Bring 'Em Out."
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, listen, with rap, you represent your style of flow, and who you are is representative of where you come from. And that Southern style, dude, it just
You almost had it right there. You almost had it with your how you almost
Oh, the what?
when you went
I just that pace, man.
It's
you know,
different, but you got to give it's in its own place. I mean, there was the East Coast and the West Coast style, but the Southern style had its own place, and you can't take away the lyricist's ability for that style, and you're dismissing it. So I'm not going to disagree with what they're saying, but it wasn't the flow, how it was presented isn't in your style, so you can't get past that.
Yeah, you're right. And listen, I admit I'm biased.
But Bring 'Em Out doesn't have that. It has a liking to the East Coast kind of way.
You know why I like Bring 'Em Out?
What?
Because Jay-Z does the hook.
Okay.
Bring 'em out, bring 'em out. But no, that's not why. But no,
but it does. It has
no,
a
I like
big
that
influence.
beat. I like the flow. Yeah. I like the lyrics on that. You know, shit. You know.
The sun rises in different. It looks different everywhere it rises. So you just don't like that style. That's fair to say it that way.
It rises very slowly in the South. Very slowly. Okay. You know, before I read this next one from Mitchell, and he says Euro plumbers dominate NBA. I had been meaning to ask you, are you familiar with this trend on TikTok that's big now? We're done with the 90s. Mm-mm. You're not familiar with this? Mm-mm. Dude, this was trending. There's a guy who made a recording, and basically he's showing blooper footage of players from the 80s and 90s, legends, Magic, Bird, Jordan, of them up, just Shaq to the fool type shit. And the guy says over the voice, man, we done with the 90s. And it was trending because now this is a chance for all the youngins to say, man, you old heads, we sick of you disrespecting us, talking about this new generation of NBA is soft, this era is weak, look at your heroes. And I'm going, so basically you guys cut together blooper reels. Like, that happens in every era. 70s, 80s, 90s. It's called Shaq to the Fool. But somehow, these kids are actually going as far as to go, Larry Bird was garbage. Magic was garbage. What?
Okay, but see, what they're not realizing is, and what you're missing on this is, there are a lot more probably bloopers from the 80s and 90s. Because when you play 82 games a season, you might make more mistakes. You might be a little more tired because you played 82 games.
Right.
Not 68 games or 50 games.
Or you don't do back-to-backs.
Yeah.
Or you're more injury-prone. Yeah.
Yeah, so we might have a few more bloopers in the bag because we played all 82 games.
And you know what? Here's the most outrageous stupid shit. They're saying Michael couldn't go left. It was like they're calling him the right-handed bandit. And they picked out some bloopers of Michael going left, shooting left, dribbling left, and he might have turned the ball over, it slipped out of his hand, he missed the shot. And then what's so stupid about this is the people were responding going, dude, if you do your homework, Michael went left a lot and finished spectacularly. Y'all are really doing this?
Wasn't that switch his hand in midair?
Yes.
Wasn't that left?
Yes.
Oh, I thought so.
Like the level of disrespect to the legends is insane. And listen, if y'all want to paint this picture based on facts, well, you can't dispute facts. But y'all are making shit up now. Y'all are making shit up.
But I think it's funny because you have to go to that. You have to go to that if you're going to try to beat that. If you're going to try to win this argument.
All right. And you know, since he uses the word plumbers, that one really pisses me off. Michael's competition was truck drivers, mailmen, and janitors. Okay, so every road to his championship, whether the playoffs or the finals, was all against elite all-stars and Hall of Famers. Barkley, Clyde Drexler, Magic Johnson, Gary Payton, Sean Kemp, Karl Malone, John Stockton. Y'all are just on a whole era like this? But anyway, let me go ahead because I get passionate about this. Hey, bro, huge fan for a multitude of reasons. For a long time, it was just because of your impressions and goated stand-up comedy. But also being a huge basketball fan and Jordan head, much like yourself, your stance on the MJ versus LeBron debate with these Zoomer morons is impeccable compared to even some sports analysts who try to break it down on sports shows. Do you know my man's name? It's Nick something. Is it Nick Wright? From Fox Sports? Nick something. I think it's Nick Wright. He has a punchable face. When he talks and sucks LeBron's the way he does, I want to hit this nigga in the mouth, dude. I usually co-sign all your thoughts on ball, plus your thoughts on movies, which are usually legit. Besides the fact that Robert Pattinson is easily the best Batman on screen ever. Boom! And Ben Affleck is best fourth, behind Michael Keaton and Christian Bale as well. But I'm emailing you to ask a couple of questions. For starters, I was at your show in Schaumburg, and you most recently appeared there at the Woodfield Mall. I tried giving you a fist bump as you were walking into the venue in the crowd before the show started, but you seemed heated and was focused on kicking some audience member out before the show even started. It seemed hilarious, but you also seemed dead-ass serious, and I just wanted to know what that was about. I'm not sure I remember, my guy, but, you know, when it's game time, nigga, what time is it? Game time. Who? I hear the music, the Bulls, ding, 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 which is the greatest basketball intro announcement music ever. Second question, and I don't mean to get super racial, even though it's a strong component of the show, and I have seen your stance continually, whether it's implied overtly or indirectly, that you think blacks are basically the best at every iteration of anything once they get their hands on it, as remedial and colorist as that may be, also 100% not true. But what are your thoughts on conventionally unathletic European white basketball players being the absolute best players in the sport, like Nikola Jokic and Luka Doncic are the best basketball players in the league right now? You just named the two. What's the third one that comes off the top of your head?
No, I'm going to comment at the end.
All right.
Because there's something you said that.
Also, sidebar, anytime some dumb bronze vestite tries to make it seem like this most recent era is just filled with beyond revolutionary and evolutionary athletes, just mention the fact that Nikola Jokic, Luka Doncic, and Steph Curry, all guys who struggle to even come close to in-game dunking, are the best players in the sport. And two European unathletic white plumbers are the best players in the sport, dominating it and dog-walking brothers. Your fan, Girth Brooks. What did you want to say?
Well, one of the things he says in there, and I want to make sure that There is a difference. And if I get you right, and I think that I do.
Me?
I might be wrong. When you talk about black people in general and the greatness of black people, you're talking about American blacks.
Yeah.
You're not talking about Africans.
No.
We're not talking about Jamaicans.
No.
I'm not with those other. I'm not on those other groups. But we're talking about a culture that has been entrenched and designed, right or wrongfully, to be great athletes, to have great strength in sports.
See the big black buck with his big black thighs. You know, where they. No, go ahead.
But I'm not. What you just did is kind of what I'm leading to.
Right.
This was.
We've been bred that way.
I'm not saying it that way. Jesus. I want to be able to get on stage and not be shot. But there was that. And then in the culture of the communities being a lot of depressed communities, and having like basketball is a sport that basically took a bicycle rim and a piece of wood nailed to a street lamp, was a game that's been played. And it became a sport that people could get behind and succeed in,
and it's a way out.
And it's a way out, and that's important. And this is what I was going. That's very important to this next part. Look at the European players that you're talking about, and a lot of them come from from nations that have been through war, through poverty, through famine, and this is their way out. And that's what we're seeing is sports sometimes comes to people that it is a way out. And you take your physical ability and you use that to your strength. And when you say these two are the greatest players, that's an opinion. I do think that they're outstanding players. But when you say greatest, I think you're running away from the group really fast. They haven't even played that long. You're talking that better than Giannis?
But if they barring career-ending injury, clearly they have the skill set to be Hall of Famers.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean greatest. I mean,
right.
I'm just talking right now. You're going to say that they're running away from Giannis. They're running away from. I don't even want. Well, LeBron is still playing, and I'm not saying LeBron. I've never said LeBron's a bad player. That's
Neither
never.
have I.
It's always been. Is he better than Michael? That's the discussion.
Yes.
One of the greatest basketball players, and he's still on the court, and he's still relevant. So no, I think what you're saying is, black men, the black culture. Let me put it that black culture has developed a lot of greatness because of its position, and they had when you fight for something, you come out stronger when you make it, and whether. I'm not trying to polish a turd here and saying that it's good that this has happened because it's made black people great. I'm saying that is a byproduct of having to struggle, and when you do succeed from struggle, you come out strong. And so when Aries says that, that's how I've always interpreted it. That when people come out and they are in sports, and you say the best athletes. You didn't say best athletes. You just said are the greatest at whatever they get their hands on. Well, okay, let's take a look at it. What's the predominant amount? And I'm talking sports right now because that's where you went in basketball. We've started this in basketball. What is the predominant look of the NFL? It's black. And NBA, black. Baseball was white, then it got very Dominican, and I hate to tell you, but that has a lot to do with black heritage as well. So you see this as part of it, but it also has to do when it's your way out, and that's what you're looking at the European players. This is their way out, and you're seeing that rise in sports as well, and it rises in other areas in education. It's unfortunate that education wasn't a primary part of getting out of rising in the black community, but there's reasons why that was for schooling and lack of ability of college entrance. But that's changing too. So I'm not off with Aries because when you struggle, you tend to excel. If you have the gifts to make it out, and if you have a cushy life, you don't tend to excel because there's nothing pushing you back. So Yeah, I see that. I never took it. I never took it as how you took what Aries is saying.
You know, I love that boxing quote. It's hard to stay hungry when you're sleeping in silk sheets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's how I look at it when you're talking about it. Right. That's why I've never went, well, Aries, that's not, you know, and I have no problem saying Aries, that's not, I don't look at it that way. But I saw every time when you say it, what you're saying. And when I see these European players coming out, this is what you see. You see people that have gone through struggle, and that's what develops greatness. You need some struggle to really excel. I think you do. And like Jordan's a great example. When he didn't have struggle, he created the struggle.
Yeah, he heard the music.
So it's part of the same game. But that was what I had in me when I was listening to that.
I love that. I'm telling you, that's
heard the music.
God, that encapsulates.
Everybody has a soundtrack, man. Yeah. Everybody has it going on.
C.J. Donovan, when it comes to the Iron Mike / Jake Paul fight, I believe it is a lose-lose for Jake Paul. If he wins, he beat a 60-year-old man. If he loses, he got beat by a 60-year-old man. Not saying Mike is an average 60-year-old man, but in my heart of hearts, I want to see Tyson uppercut him with so much force that he is temporarily suspended in air. Oh, Jesus, for a couple seconds. I'm baking in both ends, in the throat and in the ass.
I don't want to know this.
Oh, man.
It's disgusting.
Sidebar. For Brawl in Cell Block 99, you didn't give it how many yo's out of 5, or are you giving it negative yo's? Yeah, you're right, negative yo's. Yeah.
No, it is a bad movie, but there's funny parts to it, and it's silly. I'm not going to deny what that other person said. It is. If you go into it knowing how bad it is, it's not that bad. But when you told me what you had to say, I kind of knew.
Right.
So I mean, but I was mad that I don't have time just to as that other person wrote in. Mm-hmm. When you're just sitting around I don't have sitting around the house time when I'm not trying. If I'm watching something, it's because I know we're going to either talk about it or it's something I really want to see.
Right.
I don't have time for that. So it's not as I give it a yo. You're not going to give it a yo even?
Nah, man, because a yo is like a, well, if you get, you know, if it's 5-star rating, no, I don't want you to. It's a 5.
I can't wait to see it.
If it's a 5-star rating and you get 1 star, that's not a good thing. So I'll give it 1 yo.
Okay.
I'll give it half a yo.
A yo?
Like Sylvester started to say it. Hey. You know what I mean? Yeah. Not the whole yo. Yeah. I give it 1 yeah out of 5 years. What was I gonna say? Oh, dude, I'm happy to spread the news because when I first heard this, I was pissed off. But I'm happy to spread the good news about a rumor. They were saying that the rules for the Tyson Jake Paul fight, 2 of the rules were Jake Paul gets to wear headgear, and then 2, at some point in the fight, he could tap his brother in to help fight against Mike. And I went, dude, if that's true, Mike is now disgracing the sport and itself. But that's a rumor. So I saw several sources come on and say that is totally false. Jake Paul is not wearing headgear, and he's not tagging his brother in.
Tagging his brother in, that would have been disgracing the sport. Wearing headgear sounds like almost a smart move, actually. Because I think the way Tyson wins that fight, honestly. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I think this is the way it goes. Jake has gotten better. He's a little tighter, but I think he's gonna try to shoot that shot. He's gonna try to throw that one hand. Tyson's gonna slip it, go behind him, and do that and deliver that like almost to the side, that punch in the face, and that's the end.
Please.
I don't know how if you're fighting, you have to throw that punch, and I just think Tyson's just gonna wait for that one moment, slide over, and then that's it. And he's done that. He still has the speed to do that.
Yes, and the power. Right.
So and he's done
Does he have the wind?
But he has it. But he's done it to bigger and better fighters. You're right. Does he have the endurance? Can he stay? Can he stay spry for enough rounds to wait for that mistake to happen?
Right. And dude, I'm gonna tell you again, and I know I've said this. As captivating as it was to see Muhammad Ali on camera, I mean on tape, because that's the only way I saw him because he wasn't my era. I could imagine what it must have been like to see him in the flesh. You guys don't understand, man, what Mike Tyson was in the 80s. He was an event. That dude was a event. Like you when you knew Mike was fighting, and remember, this was pre-VCR, you knew you had to see it, and you knew you couldn't get up because he could knock it out during a piss break in the first round, and it'd be over.
I didn't like his fighting at that time. Honestly, not because I didn't like it, because I couldn't afford to go to a fight.
Right.
And when you watch it on TV, if you weren't there when the fight started, there's a good chance, if you were like getting something out of the kitchen or there's a good chance you missed the fight.
Right.
I'm not kidding. I missed the fight. I went to the kitchen and I missed the fight. And that stuff makes me mad. So I wouldn't even buy one of his fights anymore because you're paying all that money for a fight that was going to last less than a minute.
But you knew you were going to see an explosion. That dude was it was almost like if he came to the ring and had a leash and a collar around his neck. And when the bell rung, the corner man went, "Get him." It just, oh my God.
To his credit, I didn't want to pay for the fights because I knew how quick it was going to be.
And here's what puts it into perspective. We haven't seen anything like it since. It ain't like we could go, hey man, there's been 3 Mike Tysons since Mike Tyson. There has not been a fighter like him since.
I honestly don't think there's ever going to be a fighter like that again.
You don't think so?
Nope. Because it's one thing because you have to have punching power. You have to have speed.
Well, Foreman had, oh, right. We didn't have speed.
No, and then you have to be built for it. And Tyson was all 3 of those. You have to be built for it. There's people that have speed and even a punching power, but they're not built for it. They can be taken out. You have to have all 3 of those. Tyson is, like, if you were to say, like, I want to build a boxer, you don't build Tyson, you might build him a little taller, but that could throw some of that off, though, too.
Right.
You might want his reach to be a little longer, but then that might have taken away some of the power. He was built for exactly what he did.
He was Joe Frazier 2.0. Ugh.
Yeah, but he was still, Frazier had the power, but do you think
only the left hook. That's all. He didn't have it in both hands. Like
do you
Mike.
think he was, but he wasn't as fast as Mike.
No.
So he wasn't.
He had the size and one hand.
Tyson was, dude, I don't think you build another one like that. That's a one-off.
Dude, I'm telling you, and I know people talk about evolution, and one of the things they were saying about the basketball legends, they were like, look, everything evolves. The same way the kids today are going, we're done with the 90s. There's going to come a time 20 years from now where they'll look at today's generation and go, we done with that generation. So I guess, but I feel so blessed to have seen 3 of the most dynamic Mikes in the world. Michael Jackson, Michael Jordan, Mike Tyson. And again, people will argue this now. The only person out of that trio where people go, well, we'll never see another Michael Jackson, and we haven't. We've never seen another Mike Tyson. Well, we're seeing LeBron James. So he's the equivalent to that greatness.
No, he's not.
But I don't, exactly.
No, he's not. Because and listen, I don't want to get off on just doing the reason I can't even go there where you just went. Those games were completely different. The mentality was completely different. You could talk about the physical ability of LeBron all you want. It's a downhill player with a few moves and moves that he's developed over these years. Jordan was excellence. He was on skates. He was faster, stronger.
Poetry in motion.
He was mentally meaner than anyone else that's ever played the game. Mentally meaner. You could be his best friend on the other side. Ask Charles Barkley. You could be his best friend on the other side of him. He was going to take every little bit of advantage that he could get over you and dominate you in that game. He was mentally meaner than anybody else that's ever played that game. I don't care what anybody says. That's the best person that's ever laced him up and walked onto that hardwood is Michael Jordan.
Let me tell you something. That of all Michael's highlights, the one that is just breathtakingly beautiful, I think it was against the New Jersey Nets. When he took off and weaved in and out of the air through 3 people and finished off the glass. And like people say, the closest guy to him that we've seen is Kobe
Bryant.
And I don't even think Kobe was that poetically beautiful in flight. He mimicked Michael in terms of all the moves on the ground and the turnaround jumper. But in flight, in midair, Michael was an artist. It was an artist, man. So, yeah, I hear you. Chris Granja, Andy's going to love this. Anti-Zionist. I love you, Aries, but I can't get down with Zionist pigs. I'm still listen to you, but most of you and only you. Damn, he's really mad.
Yeah. I know.
Andy, but no money from me ever. I can't give my money to a Zionist. Now, before I hand it over to you, just so I understand, for context, what is a Zionist and why is that so apparently evil?
Well, it depends on what you determine what your interpretation of Zionist is. I believe that Jewish people have a right to a homeland, and that's what a Zionist is.
A person who has a right to a homeland?
I believe that the Jewish people have a right to their homeland.
Okay.
And that's because however his interpretation of it is, that's how he feels. He's allowed to feel that way. I don't care. I think the beauty of it is he's listening to you, but I'm still here. So that doesn't mean I agree with everything that happens in Israel. That doesn't mean I agree with everything that the government's done. Just like I don't agree with everything this government in the United States has done. That doesn't mean I agree with everything that happens in this country. But do I believe that Jews have a right to a homeland? I do. I do 100%. And
Doesn't everybody have the right to a homeland?
Jews don't, apparently.
Oh. And who decided that?
Well, there's a lot of this is where the argument will take place, and it would take me forever to do that, but I can do it very simply. The land of Palestine is they want to make it Palestine, but without a doubt, it was Judah before then. It was the home of the Jews. And they have a right to return to their homeland. They were living there, even amongst and it was never Palestinian people until our recent times. It was Arabs and Jews and other diverse people living in this area, and it stretches all the way to Jordan and all the way through Israel, and that's where we can get into it. There's a lot of different issues that happen to get to where we are today. But those are the conversations that need to be had. And we need to agree on certain basics of what the truth is. And we can't have them because with a statement like that, Zionist, like he wrote a letter in, Andy's this, Zionist pig. So I have no problem with that. You can call me anything you want. It doesn't bother me. The problem is that we're never going to get past the conversation. We're never going to have the conversation because it's always one or the other, only one way to see it. And there's, on both sides, there's sides that can't see it the other way also. I feel for the people, for the Arabs that live in that area. And they're Arabs. This Palestinian thing is not, go back, do research, look at when they first started calling people Palestinians and when it became the Palestinian people. It was always the people who lived in the Palestinian region, which were Jews as well as Arabs. So do whatever you need to do, but do your work. Do your work and realize that it's more complicated than just what you want it to be. But they have a right to their homeland.
All right. Beth Spies. And Chris, I'm just curious. Write in and tell me. Were you really upset? Are you really like upset?
Oh yeah, I can guarantee you he's upset.
Oh, okay.
But you know what? I just want to say this to him too. I want to actually look into this. I didn't feel it was right for me to sit up here and not say it, because if you really feel the way that you feel, you have every right not to listen to me, and I'm giving you that option. You know what? I really loved Giorgio Armani supported the PLO back in the day. He was a big supporter, and I stopped wearing Armani because I wasn't going to support that cause. That was my choice. But Armani gave me the choice. I'm not mad at Armani. That was his how he felt, and I'm not going to deny him his feelings. But I appreciated that he gave me let me know so that if I chose not to buy, I wasn't supporting them with my dollar, and I gave you that. I gave you that ability. So I think that's important. That's why I actually said it on the podcast, and I've said it since the beginning. And then I leaned into it a little harder because I didn't think it was fair. That I don't want to bring that to the podcast because that's not what this podcast is all about. But I want you to know who I am, and so there you go. So I gave you the right. I gave you the right to dislike me.
If you don't want to give Andy no money, My Cash App is $, capital ARIES, capital SPEARS. Send it to me.
Yeah, and I just want you to know, I never asked you for your money, so you can keep it.
Well, give me his.
You can take it.
Beth Spies. Disappointed. Hey, Aries and Andy, I have done my homework and watched Brawl in Cell Block 99. It should have been called Barf in Cell Block 99. I have no words for how bad and unrealistic this movie was. I agree with you guys that he is a good bad guy, but not a tough guy. However, he is an awesome, funny guy and should stick to what he does best. Have either of you guys seen the TV show Spartacus? It's a really awesome show. It has sex, violence, and romance. Now, I know, Aries, you said you couldn't get into Game of Thrones, and Spartacus is in the same arena. But maybe when you have some downtime, you can watch a couple of episodes. I don't think you'll be disappointed. Much love, Beth. You heard of Spartacus?
No, I haven't seen it. I saw some preview or something, but I haven't seen it.
It is cooking.
Oh, no. That direction. Oh, gross.
Just a bit outside.
Why can't you lean the other way?
Cleveland! You know what? When Frank goes, Aries, do you need anything? I'm going to go, I need you to take this.
Dude, I'm so grossed out right now.
Oh, don't be, man.
I don't know if it's safe yet or not.
If there's something strange and it's in your butt, what you gonna do?
It's terrible. I think they should have called it, what did he say, barf and...
Barf in Cell Block 99.
Barf
It's Beth, it's her.
Oh,
It's she.
It's barf behind the canned goods in Cell Block 99.
Barf behind the
Canned goods, because they slide that the thing of cans. They slide that the shelf. Remember when they went into the Cell Block 99? He had to slide the shelf.
Oh, right.
And it's all the canned goods.
Right.
That to me, I just cannot get over that they hid that there's a trap door behind cans.
It makes sense for that movie. It makes absolute sense. Man. Jordan Lamar, I am on y'all's ass. Oh, wait. God damn. Shit. Jesus. Might save this till last, 'cause Jesus. Jesus Molejo. This was the thing. This was the thing. Let me dive. Don't let me live in your. Okay, this was the guy who I told you kind of pissed me off. He said, episode 367, Spears is full of shit. Yeah, it's mainly whites doing mass murder events, but it's blacks doing murder and masses daily. Take off them, my ancestors were slave glasses, and look at the numbers. Blacks killing each other. 1 here, 2 there, 1 here, 2 there, 3 here, 1 there. Rinse and repeat hourly. Murder of the masses. Whites, 10 murders here, time span weeks for months, 10 murders there. Black is winning the murder by numbers. And then what did I say? I said, please do some research and learn some history, and you'll see how stupid your statement is. Look up the word genocide. Stop trying for white love so badly when you're Latino your goddamn self. And then he wrote, just because you yell and get mad / aggravated, that don't make you right. Steinberg has to stop letting you think you've won the argument just because your octave raises to an umpth degree. Which is funny because no matter what I do, it's not like he backpedals. He sticks his landing, which irritates me. But we have the argument. As far as genocide goes, I may have to rewatch episode, but I don't believe that subject was never discussed during your tantrum on mass murder. P.S. Don't let me live in your head rent-free. And I said, don't let me live in yours. I love when people say that as though the only way that you would be living in my head rent-free and not vice versa is if you didn't respond. But you respond, I respond, then you respond. So we're both squatting in each other's domes. Okay.
The only thing that he missed, though, which would have been funny comedically, is when he said, murder here, 3 there, murder there, murder. What happened to murder everywhere? E-I-E-I-O.
Right.
He does have a point though, because you do stop short.
And I know we've gotten into an argument about this.
You do stop short of calling that out, and that needs to be called out. There is there has been mass murders, yes, predominantly. But you know what? This is where the uniform thing is funny to me. When I talk about us in uniforms, and we've been divided up, and we divide. But there is not one. Listen, just let's just go back to real quick. Let's just go back to the murder that happened in Kansas City during the Super Bowl parade, and they didn't show who did it. And there's been talk about that too, and why they didn't show, and the media is biased, and that's why they didn't want. If it would have been white, they would have thrown it out there. White guys kill people again in the streets. Anyway, but the thing is, we all have one thing in common, no matter what uniform we wear. Every single person went, don't let it be whatever they are. Every single person. As soon as they knew that happened, white people were like, please don't let it be white. Black people were like, please don't let it be black. Hispanic people, don't let it be. Every single person wants. No one wants that. No one wants that. No one wants that to be part of what their culture is. So let's be a little bit about that. Now, so yes, we do see where it tends to go one way or the other.
But when you say no one wants that, you're right. No one does. Which is why, and I'm going to pat myself on the back, I once upon a time ago had that saying in my stand-up when I went, we know that not all white people are racist, but as a race, you guys are known for racism. So yeah, white people don't want that on their culture, but culturally, they're the main ones.
Culturally the reason you have this is because culture comes with power. So what you're saying is white people have more power. That is what you're saying. Because culturally, when you can dominate situations, it comes from power. It's the power dynamic that allows something to be dominant. And that's the issue. When you have too much power. But I'm looking at...
That's why blacks dominate in sports. We have more power.
You have more power.
We're more powerful physically.
Go back to the what's his name? Now I can't remember what he said. What's his name? The Greek.
The big black buck was Brett. That's why they got the big black thighs.
That extra,
they have the femur bone. They got the femur bone. I'm starting to turn into Bobby Patterson.
But
listen, we go all the way back to Jack Johnson era of boxing, destroying white men to the point where they made him cut the camera off, so there was no footage.
But to be fair though, too, there wasn't. The rounds kept going until someone died. So they cut the camera maybe so that you didn't see someone die on film.
I wish they could bring that back, nigga. 48 rounds.
that is just like, you got to get back out there. He's killing me.
Right.
You got to get back out there. Yeah. No, that's funny. Listen, there's a huge power dynamic that is also needs to be discussed in this. And we've already discussed it in many ways, and we fight about it. But we get to the reason I brought this up is the bottom line is no one wants this on their culture. No one wants this to be part of their uniform to portray who they are. But we have to do better job as humans to get rid of it. All of us included. And we call out this side, and what he's saying is, I think what he's saying is that we ignore, or that you have ignored, a very serious situation where there are a lot of deaths in the black community as a whole, and why that is. We can debate that. We can talk about it. We can say that the position that those communities have been put in, and the violence that has brought out, and trying to get out of that community has caused this. We can say all that. We can talk about it, but it's still there. And I think that that's what he's alluding to, is that you don't...
Yeah, but I hate when people act like, are dismissive in that way. Like, yeah, it's there, but the root cause as to why it's there. It's there. And it is. But you can't ignore the root cause as to why it's there.
You can't ignore the root cause to why it's there. But what if I would have said to you, when you talk about white men and the culture of white, and I would say, well, that culture was brought to this country before it was even a country, and it had been ingrained into the culture, and it's not America's fault because that was ingrained to the, and it was kind of done that way. Actually, it was talked about that way, where the British had brought that into the Americas, and that's why this culture existed of slavery, and what if I said, well, they're not really at fault because it was in their culture that this was the way that it was supposed to be. And that's what it was. There is the debate and conversation for culture is definitely part of the equation. But then the accountability is something that if you don't even bring it up, and this is where I think he's saying it is, it's not, you ignore, he feels like you're ignoring it and that you don't even bring that up or want to address that. And that is still something that needs to be addressed and something that needs to be worked on and something that needs to be improved on. I think that's his point. I don't think that he wants to be like you're a horrible person or that you black this, white that, Hispanic this. I think that he's saying that you ignore it and dismiss it as that it's not in a way that this, if we need to solve this other white problem first before this problem is even addressed. And I think that he has some point that you skip over that and only talk about the other part. But it is a problem. And it needs to be addressed as well. And we could talk about it culturally. We can bring all the reasons why, but we're not addressing it. We're not talking about it. And right again, when this happened in Kansas City, and it was a fight between two black young kids. They're younger, I think. They were like high school age. If I'm wrong, I could be completely wrong. I thought that's what they said, but I wasn't looking at it that way. I really wasn't. But everybody was like, "Don't let it be us." And it had to be somebody. And the media didn't want to put that out there because I think the media is afraid. I don't even know if afraid is the right word. The liberal part of the media doesn't want to portray anything black that has anything negative. And I think that doesn't benefit anyone because we still need to address these subjects. I think we need to address all the subjects in its totality, not because of race, not because of this agenda. I think it needs to be done because it would benefit the communities if it was handled. But that goes on to policing and everything, not just, as you said, when you just say black on black crime, that doesn't answer the question. There's more to it. And yes, it all has to be worked out and talked about and addressed. How do you not address it all?
You know what the moral of the story is?
What?
Jesus, suck my
I thought I was leading into a really good answer for this, and then I got that. I thought I said something that sounded almost like, manageable.
Chris Ganja don't like you. Jesus don't like me.
Hey, I was happy for Chris, man. Take your stand, man. Live your life. Be who you are. And if that's the case, don't support it. I'm for Chris. I'm actually for Chris. Chris won't even understand this. I'm for you, man. You have a right, and I support your right, man. I support your right not to want to support me.
Leroy Furious. Brawl and Cell Block 99. I recommended Brawl and Cell Block 99. You on punishment, Leroy. 2 weeks, nigga, just sit in the corner with your face to the wall. It's awesome. I watch it almost weekly. Really? I fail to see the problem.
Really? That's the problem.
Right. This movie is action-packed. The script was flawless. Great physical humor on the level of Buster Keaton and Charlie Chaplin.
If he's looking at it that way, the physical comedy part of it, then I might see a little bit more. But
Charlie Chaplin scraped the face meat off.
Yeah,
to the neck.
If you were doing it in man food style, Charlie, I mean, Buster Keaton hanging off of a clock, I don't think is the same thing that we saw in this movie. Maybe when they slid the canned goods to the side.
Okay. Brilliant cinematography. Still, Steven Spielberg couldn't make Steven Spielberg couldn't make a film better than Brawl and Cell Block 99. I'm about to tell jokes at Awesome Con. You just told several here. It's the Washington, D.C. Comic Con. Nerds everywhere. Have a great day. Ha, ha, ha. Also, The Godfather Part 1 is whack.
Godfather Part 1 is whack.
But the sequel is better. I'm never watching Part 3.
Part 1 is...
It's
sorry.
Part 1... Dude, again, most people consider 2 better than 1. 2 don't do it for me like that, man.
1's the movie.
Come on.
And when and I'm sorry too, but some of the behind the scenes too, and that makes the movie even better. When you know that the cat that Marlon Brando was petting in that was just some stray cat that Marlon picked up and they were shooting it, and he added that in to make this character. And they had to dub the film because the cat was purring and growling and making noise through it. They had to do just things about this movie that just wouldn't happen today. Make this movie the one, man. It's one of my favorite movies of all time.
Wait a minute. You telling me that the Italian's a Securian vet? As you can see, I have a weakness for my kids. They talk when they should listen. Santino, we been playing mush with that girl is messing with your brain. Never want to tell anyone outside the family what you're thinking. Come on, man. Come on, man. Mike, you could not come to Las Vegas and talk to a man like Mo Green like that. Fredo, you're my younger brother, and I love you. But don't ever take sides with anyone against the family again. Ever. Come on, man. Come on, man.
He likes two, though. He just didn't like... I don't know how you don't like one.
How you don't like one? How?
It sets up everything. It brings the...
Oh, boy. Well, he just said it. He's a comedian. He's trying to tell jokes. That was a great set.
Yeah, it was.
That I just read. It was an awesome set. Tell that, nigga. All right, last one. Jordan Lamar. I'm on y'all's ass.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. What up, Aries and Annie? You know, if we were two homosexuals, that would be awesome. What's up, Aries and Andy? Currently on episode 534. I'm almost caught the up to y'all. First and foremost, I want to shout out Uriah Young. I hope I'm spelling that right, from episode 523, for sending me well wishes and the positive energy that made my whole week. Y'all have a lot of unhinged listeners, LOL. Yeah, we just read from two of them. But also ones with a lot of heart. Thanks, Uriah. Love you, sis. Secondly, I want to thank y'all for reading my emails. It's really cool that you guys do that, and I think you have read all the ones I've sent. Y'all are the real deal for that. I wanted to send a rebuttal to the response you gave regarding The Sopranos. Aries, at the end of your response, you said, I don't understand character development or Tony's character. I understand it perfectly. Look at Franklin from Snowfall. College kid, drug dealer, murderer, kingpin, businessman, junkie loser. That's character development. Tony is the same from premiere to finale. A spoiled brat who throws a temper tantrum whenever he doesn't get his way. But that's who he is. You want him to be something that he's not just because Franklin is? That's a different character. It's a different arc.
Well, it's completely different, too, because when we come into Tony, Tony's already the head of that family, whether it's he's a head of a family. It's completely different. So he's already in power. So of course his what's the right
Flaw?
way? Yeah, his flaws. The person he is has risen to power with those flaws. So those flaws are going to come out even more as you become, the more power you get.
Right, and part of the whole point of the psychiatry for him is dealing with those flaws.
Flaws, yeah.
Oh, man, dude, you might be the third one we're reading that's, as you say, unhinged. He doesn't get his way. As heavily depicted in many Saints of Newark. And Andy just said that. That's before the rise to power. As heavily depicted in many Saints of Newark, when tossing out the stereo his daddy bought him. You said he has to act like the boss so he doesn't show weakness. He was with his wife, his sister, and Bobby in that moment and acted like a little boy when he said it was a sucker punch. Because he's the boss. He can't not be the boss, so he has to say it was a sucker punch.
And his ego will
He's a narcissist. Why would he need to act like the boss there? Knocking out the bodybuilder/driver in that scene was not hard. He picked on the only in that moment he knew he could get away with it. No, this is why I know you don't understand. Remember in that scene, they show him looking at everybody, sizing everybody up. He didn't pick the he knew he could beat. He picked the that he thought could beat him. To show everybody else, I picked the biggest, baddest, strongest in the room, and I took him. I'm still a bush. He didn't get that?
Well, that goes to that saying when they always say it in the movies, you find the biggest dude in the yard. And
make an example out of him to set the tone for everybody else. He He picked the only nigga in that moment he knew he could get away with some cash. Adriana was a rat and flipped easily for the dumbest reason. After that, she was not family, and the death was justified. Was not family, and the death was justified. I needed to see that die. He threatened her with a drug charge, right? Possession or dealing. They already showed June getting off for being the head of a crime family, and Chris and Paulie getting off for gun charges, I think. They have money and great lawyers. You're telling me Adriana doesn't know that and that they couldn't get her off or at least a light sentence? Okay, well, remember, she was struggling with it the whole time. And even though she is with a mob guy, she's not in the mob. You know, and it's a thing for the mob guys. They don't include their significant others in their business, a la Al Pacino and Godfather. Kate, this one time I'm gonna let you ask me about my affairs. So just because she's mobbed up with a mob dude don't mean she knows the inner workings of the mob. And when she finally told Christopher, you think she would have told him knowing he would have her killed? The love of her life? Come on, man. Yeah, you get me worked up. You're telling me she wouldn't take that on the chin knowing who she's dealing with? Give me a break. As for the violence, Aries, I've done the homework. You love Equalizer, Godfather, Casino, and Goodfellas. I know you love that graphic violence. The violence in many states, Joey Diaz getting his head blown off and the drill to the mouth. Come on, bro. We both got bodies in the freezer. Also, I like the comedy throughout the show. It did make the show even better. But season 1 was over the top, and over the top is all. When you gave the examples of how they sneak up on people to kill them, I agree they do sneak up on the person they are going to hit. However, if the public sees them or if they are with their family, they don't care who's around to look, i.e. Bobby, Phil, Sil, and Jerry. Well, when Bobby got killed, he wasn't with his family. He was in the toy store looking at the trains. The guy in the restaurant would have killed Tony immediately and walked out. But I'm wrong on him being alive. Chase confirmed he's dead and that he died in the restaurant. Oh, and that life is episodic. That life is episodic line you dropped was not it, bruh. LOL, miss me with that.
Chase has never confirmed that Tony's dead.
Thank you. Dude, you're wrong on several notes.
People misinterpreted what Chase said.
Right.
And then he actually went out and said he's never given an answer to it.
Right. And when I said life is episodic line, I'm sure I said that, and I believe it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it because Chase said that what he never understood was people rooting for Tony to be alive, that this is a psychotic killer. And
well, I'm one of the people that rooted for him to be alive because I love the show and wanted to see it go on.
Right, I understand that. But he's like, why do people want the psychotic killer to be alive? You're rooting for the bad guy.
Right.
You could make the bad guy a good guy, a good entertainment watch, but he's still a bad guy.
Right.
So this is Chase's conundrum with people loving the character of Tony and rooting for him to be alive. He never said that he died though, and I still stick to what I said. If he died, we would have saw him on. We would have saw the shot happen. We would have heard the shot. We would have seen something. We don't hear anything, and it went black. They said that earlier. When you die, it just goes black. Who went black? We did. The screen went black. We didn't see anything after that. We didn't hear a shot, and we didn't see anything. What is death? You don't hear anything. He says it. You don't hear anything. You don't hear anything. When they're out on the rowboat, you don't hear anything,
right.
And it just goes black. You didn't hear anything and went black. How do you not think that we were the ones that were killed, the watchers?
I mean, but look, technically, we don't know that. That's really
no.
what
I
that
agree.
is.
I agree. But
it sounds good.
But it's a reasonable argument,
right? All right.
And I know. You know what else I know? I know that we ain't watching The Sopranos anymore. That was the last episode. I know that we're not watching it.
Well, I'm watching every day. It lives on in my fucking house. All 6 changes.
I need what happens in a drama to matter. FYI, I did used to get my test papers handed to me face down. LOL, but at least I know how to pronounce toxicity. Reciprocity. Oh, now you got me. Toxicity. Reciprocity.
He's showing you that he can pronounce all these great words.
Okay, and monotonous. Jesus, dude, I'm sorry. Those were kicking y'all ass. Y'all are wordsmiths. Tighten up, dog. LMAO. Dude, I like you, but I'm starting to feel a certain way.
You know what? You know what a good wordsmith will do? They'll find another word if they can't say the one that they.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Only giving you like you gave me. Anyway, I know The Sopranos is your baby, but you have to admit it has flaws. No, it don't. And no, it doesn't. No. All the great shows do. I got to give it to Snowfall, Breaking Bad, and Sons of Anarchy, though. Those the GOATs. If you make me feel every emotion, that's the GOAT. Snowfall made me cry, tear up multiple times. Gonna watch S.H.I.E.L.D. and The Wire next. I'm sure they leapfrog over Sopranos, too. Jesus, dude. I misspoke about Denzel. He doesn't play the same character. He's just Denzel in every role. A caricature of himself. Still one of the GOATs. I don't know that I like this thing.
You do, but he said Sons of Anarchy. You, out of all the endings, you like that Jax just gave it up like that he just let him, he had nowhere to go, so he just let himself go. I don't know that's the way you go out.
I don't remember because, like I said, I started Sons of Anarchy, but then I just walked away. It didn't hold me. So I don't remember what that is you're referring to.
I got to be honest with this. I'm undecided at the way that does he. I understand why he could take himself out like that. I just don't know that that's the ending that I was looking for. I don't know. I don't know if it is. I really have a hard time with that ending. I guess in theory, if you have the right music in your head while you're watching it happen, it makes sense. But I just think that there's something else I wanted from that.
I don't get Denzel is in Denzel in every movie. Was he Denzel in Macbeth doing Shakespeare? Much Ado About Nothing? He was Denzel?
Someone else sent this into me, Keith, a listener, Keith, and he said, I love Jonathan Wright, so I have no problem with him saying that he's one of the best actors ever. I have no problem with that. I want to go see the new movie that he has, American, I forgot what it is, but I would love for us to talk about it on here. I understand, and he said that Jeffrey loses himself. You lose him, and you just get the character that he's playing. Denzel has the reason Denzel's hired.
But Denzel's not a character actor.
No, and Denzel's but when Denzel does a character, when you watched X, I saw Malcolm X. I didn't see Denzel.
You saw Denzel in Flight when he was a drunk alcoholic?
No, man. But there's still Denzel-isms. And
you know what?
And that happens to all great actors.
Again,
all great actors have that.
Okay, here's why they say that. Because he's good looking and smooth.
Yeah, but he
can't change being good looking. He's older now, but he can't change that. He can't change being a smooth guy. He's smooth. He comes off on camera smooth.
But they cast you for those reasons, though, too. They want some of that. They want some. Al Pacino, they want some of that. They want a little of the.
I'll even take that back to a movie you like by Denzel that, I don't like. That Ezekiel, where he played the lawyer. No smoothness at all.
No, but it didn't do well either.
Well,
because they pay because they want they want some of the isms. They want some of that. I think that's what happens when you have Hollywood greatness and they can count on you to pay you $20, $25, $30 million for a movie because they know they're making their money back. They want some of what they bought.
That sounds slave shit.
But honestly,
Right.
it isn't. You said it, but isn't it? Isn't that part of the game?
Yeah. You're a brand. You're a
You're a
product.
brand. You're a product. You're a product. And they want some. They want.
All right, they want some of that product. All right, that's what they want. They want me to talk low, and
Just like if it was, how does that go? Just as if it was, they know my name. Just as if it was General.
And they know that. Pepsi, that's a brand name, and they know that more than they know me, the chairman of General Mills.
Yeah, they know Denzel, and they know that he's going to give them that. That's what happens, and I think that's what they're looking for in some of those movies.
That's hogwash to say.
Yeah, but that isn't his
he's
fault.
He's the same in every. Get the out of here.
I think there's isms that are similar in a lot of movies, but that's what they're paying for. That's what they wanted. They want a little.
Dude,
bit.
I'm so captivated by the overall performance that the ism don't mean to me. I'm looking at the performance, man.
Listen, let's go to Al Pacino for a second. The most amount of Al Pacino isms is in Any Given Sunday. And that, I loved it. I loved every bit of it, though, because it fit so well. And then
as a coach would be.
Oh my God! But it's Al Pacino isms up to ass, man. That's everything that you paid for, and you got it, and it went in there.
Played his game inch by inch. I don't know any of
it. But it's right. The right movie, and that's what they pay for. They want that in there. You think that Denzel needed to do that, or did they say, "Can you give him a little bit more of the And that's what we're paying for. That's what people went to the movie to see. Man on Fire doesn't have all those Denzel isms.
Listen, I could go through a list of Denzel movies to prove that wrong.
Yeah, you can.
Stephen Biko, Cry Freedom. Come on, man. Hurricane Carter, Reuben Hurricane Carter.
And listen, that's another character that he played. And you got the character. You get the character. I think people are wrong when they say it. His performances, though, when he does play up his Denzel-isms, are so strong.
The most Denzel-ism of all, like you just said, the Pacino is Pacinoist. Denzel is Mo Better Blues. Because he's playing a smooth jazz musician. And that's him in his prime. That's him slim trim. That's him in nice clothes. Jazz music is sexy. That is Denzel at his most Denzel Washington-ist.
So when you pull some of those little pieces and you put them into just the isms, people say that. But that isn't, that is what people, that's the dressing, that's the nice plate when you serve your food and you get the
Denzel-ism is the head leaning ever so slightly. All right, and that voice going down here. All right, real low. All right, you know what? That's the Denzel-ism. But that's him.
It is. I mean, take that and tell, like, his daughter said that she's going out. It's her first date with a boy, and they're going out to the movies. And she said, "Dad, I'm going out with Mikey, and he's taking me to the movies."
All right, who is Mikey? All right, what movie you going to see? All right, make it a good one. I know the lights are going to be off, but make sure he doesn't do anything he's not supposed to do. Don't dip your hand in the popcorn if it feels like butter, it may not be butter. I want you to have my daughter home at 9 o'clock. I don't care what time the movie ends. If she's not here by 9, I'm going to come look for you. Right. But that performance, though. Let me finish this shit. Some recent topics. Your Mike Tyson toy doesn't have a face tattoo because the toy artist copyrighted the design. I didn't notice that.
Oh, no, it doesn't, yeah.
Oh, I think the studio that made The Hangover got sued for using it. Kids are wilder now because they can't be disciplined anymore. Someone put it in their head that they can call CPS if their parents hit them, leading to jail time. Always love and respect. Peace. Jordan, I like you, man. I do, still. But the Sopranos, man, you're way off. You are way off, dude.
You mean, I think you could be friends with anybody as long as they had the same feelings on Michael Jordan,
The
Sopranos,
and hip hop,
yeah. Then I think you could be friends with it. It could be. You could have a sit down and enjoyable conversation with a Klansman as long as
he got Tim's on and he likes Jordan. Yeah, man, you're just wrong, dude. You're wrong.
Dude, you're not going to change his opinion.
It's the Soprano. I'm telling you, man.
There's things you don't like about the Sopranos. You don't like the when he has the dream sequences.
That's it.
But there's things in there that bother you. There's things that bother him. It is still Michael.
But the way he described it and the things he was saying was off base. It's off. No. Like and the example of using Snowfall, what was the character's name? Do you remember Snowfall?
No, I don't remember.
Franklin.
Okay.
The way you drug dealer, junkie, this. You saw him take a journey because when he started, he was a kid with a backpack.
Yeah.
That turned into a kingpin. That lost everything.
Oh, well. But see, this is the other part of that story, and this is where like you like this, and this is what you're missing from Tony Soprano. He never turned into a kingpin. He always fought to no. even Franklin, he never turned into a kingpin. He had other people running every little bit for him. He never was able to make that decision. He never went to that bad guy. He never went all the way. He did go to the bad guy, but it was something that bothered him. He could never get over the top. Tony, from the moment you see him, to be where he is made, you already had to have killed somebody. He's already past being the bad guy.
Yeah,
he's already in
he's
that.
He's a boss.
He's already past, and you're going to see him the whole time in that stage trying to keep it from other bad guys. Other guys who want more power than Tony has, and Tony's fighting other people. He's fighting other people at his level to stay where he's at, even his own family. And that's the difference. Franklin, you're seeing a young man who never wanted this, who had all the potential to be the best, but life didn't let him have that, and then he goes this whole way. You're never going to see a scene where Tony Soprano gets taken down and he's living on the street.
Never.
That's not part of the character.
No.
So this is why you're comparing apples to oranges, as one might say.
Right.
Yeah, you are a little off on how you're thinking about these. These are you just don't like you don't like the Tony Soprano character. That's what it comes down to. If you feel this way, because his character is defined. It is a defined character.
And when you talk about, I was even thinking in my head just now. You go, this made me cry. And I'm going, wait a minute. There's got to be a moment in Sopranos where Tony made me cry. But no, because that's not who he is. That's weakness. You know what I'm saying? But when you want to talk about pulling an emotion out of you, dude, all you got to do is watch Whitecaps. That fight between Tony and Carmela, when after the Russian calls the house and they get into that fight, Edie Falco's performance, even she, I would say, was on it. The light was on her, but a good tennis match, you need two people. He was going them two, that moment, and then the moment when she later in that same episode, she admits to fantasizing about Furio. Oh my God.
But see, this is where the story is told well. This is where Tony is allowed to be human, because this is about his personal relationship with his wife and with the people close to him. Tony's only emotional in those situations. When it comes to the business, it is business. And there's two different characters that you're watching. That, I think, is the part that's missing. And Tony's problem, the reason that he's going for help, is because he has a problem. There is a problem with him, because with his mom and the division of him as a human from business to personal. He has a problem
with my mother. The panic attacks.
That someone could take business, which is life and death, and be so removed from it, but then his mom can make him fall over and basically give him this massive panic attack. That was the conundrum. It wasn't business. Tony could always handle the business side. It was his human side that he couldn't handle.
Can I tell you something, Tony?
Don't pretend like I got a choice. No, because all this was forced on you. What you really crave is a Honda with a gold chain.
I have been dreaming and fantasizing about Furio.
What?
And then you would come down, and it would all go away.
Oh, poor you. He talked to you. He made me feel like I mattered. You know what's good? You asked me what's the difference between you and a Russian. It's a pretty good question. She had to fight and struggle her entire life. And I haven't, have I? Except bring the jazz in inside the leather trunch.
Sorry, I took that out of sequence. Oh, God, you're crazy. All right, dude, I think that's it.
I think we should have an all Sopranos Michael Jordan.
Let me tell you. No, I can't make that my head. I'll explode. That's too much. It's too much coke on the table. But I wish we would have thought to have done it. But a little ways back, they did the 25th anniversary of The Sopranos. It was all over the internet. I wish we would have had a moment. To this day, I wish we would have did an episode where it was like me and Andy's top 25 Soprano moments. And we just went over the top 25 what we thought were the best moments of the show.
Yeah, we could have done that.
Yeah.
All right, should I give out some dates?
Hurry up.
You should give out the dates. Where are we going to be here? Can you do this just for me? You don't have to do it if you don't want to do it. But can you give out, just so we can harp on the New York date, May 18th at the Hulu Theater. Can you do that in your...
Tony Soprano?
Yeah.
Hey, look, I'm talking to all the people in New Jersey and New York, the tri-state area. Any of the areas are going to be in Madison Square fucking Garden at the Hulu Theater. You got to go there. It's going to be great. It's May 18th, right?
Yeah.
All right, I want everybody to show the up. All of my guys are going to be there. Shell, Christopher, Paulie, even Uncle June and Johnny Shack, my fucking sister Janice, and Meadow and AJ. It's going to be great. Aries is going to have in his green room all the tequila and the Patron and some of Artie's man I got with the gravy.
You know, Hallstein's where that's the I took you there. That's where they remodeled it.
Did they?
They took out the booth.
Somebody bought it, didn't they?
Yeah, like $80,000. It's $82,000.
There's some people that are just rich for no reason.
You have that booth in your house. This is where Tony Soprano got shot.
Wow.
You don't even know he got shot. This is where you might have saw his last meal. This is where you might have got shot.
Every time you sit at that booth, you got to play Journey's "Don't Stop Believing."
Just as soon as you sit in the seat, the song comes on. It's a pressure.
Yeah. It's rigged that way.
Yeah. But yeah, they sold it.
And just so you could see the way the audience did, a big black knocks you out in the booth. You just black out.
You hear a door. You hear the bell on the door.
And while you're sitting in the booth, don't stop believing. Just wake up from being knocked unconscious.
March 22nd through the 23rd, we're at the Virginia Beach Funny Bone. March 29th through the 31st, we're at the Funny Bone in Columbus, Ohio.
How crazy is it that you hear the bell and you know it's coming, but you just don't see it?
You just don't stop.
You go, oh, you bracing for this knockout.
You pay extra for that. April 5th, we're going to be one night only at the Parker in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. April 11th, we're starting our Canadian tour. We're at River, Cree, and Enoch, Alberta. April 12th through April 12th. It's one night only again. It's part of the Canadian tour. We're at Grey Eagle in Calgary. April 13th to the 14th, we swing back to the States. We're at the Funny Bone in Syracuse, New York. That's April 13th to the 14th. Back in Canada, April 15th at Dartforth Music in Toronto. April 19th to the 21st, we come back to see our good friend Frank. Aries, do you need anything?
Yeah, Frank, take this.
Oh, me for doing so.
Just a bit outside. Cleveland.
That's April 19th to the 21st. Cleveland. April 27th, we're at Bronson Center in Ottawa. April 28th, that stinks, dude.
Yeah, it actually does.
April 28th, we're at the Olympia in Montreal, Quebec. Let's see, April 30th, we're at Bellerose in Halifax, Nova Scotia. May 2nd. 2nd through the 5th, we're at Helium in Portland, Oregon. And then now we go on a little theater run. May 9th, we're at Meyer Theater in Green Bay. May 11th, we're at the Wilbur in Boston. And as Tony Soprano said, May 18th, we're at the Hulu Theater in
Madison Square Garden.
Yeah. And we have to go because Aries, I think, his pants. And so that's the show.
What do we call this one?
Aries shit his pants.
Okay.
Spears and Steinberg.
Thanks for listening to the Spears and Steinberg podcast. If you'd like to know who's responsible for this shit, it was hosted by Aries Spears and Andy Steinberg, produced by Steve Merrick and Anthony Holmes, executive producer, Big Papa, Robert Kelly, and Matt Kleinschmidt for the Laugh Button podcast. For more information on where to find us on the internet, visit SpearsburgPod.com.